Cuba starts to receive delegations attending the summit of the G77 group plus China, convened for a summit on September 15th and 16th in Havana. Also, in the framework of his historic tour of China, the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, arrived in Beijing, the capital of the Asian giant. And North Korea's leader, Kim Jong Un, arrived in Russia for an official state visit and a meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Hello from the headquarters of TeleSUR English in Havana, Cuba. This is From the South. I'm your anchor, Gladys Quesada, and these are the news. Cuba starts to receive delegations attending the summit of the G77 plus China, convened for a summit on September 15th and 16th in Havana. With the purpose of strengthening the unity of the member countries and to analyze and decide on collective actions to effectively face the most demanding challenges of humanity, this important meeting has been convened. The convention's palace will be the main venue for the meeting, which has already been confirmed by the many heads of state and government. The United Nations has described this summit as fundamental for the future of the planet. And now we move on to other topics. In Chile, commemorations for the 50th anniversary of the coup d'etat against President Salvador Allende had place yesterday. The ceremony was attended by Salvador Allende's relatives, as well as leaders and spokespersons of international organizations. In the activity conducted from El Palacio de la Moneda, the Moneda's palace, seat of the government, a minute of silence was held for the victims of the military dictatorship, while they paid homage to the President Allende. Congresswoman Isabel Allende recalled that memory is important to achieve the truth, the justice, and the non-repetition of the violent events of that date committed by the forces of the then dictator Augusto Pinochet.
Memory is the first step to get to the truth, but we need much more to achieve justice, reparation, and the non-repetition of the facts of that day. That is why I fully subscribe to the slogan, "Memory is democracy and future."
During the commemoration of the anniversary of the coup d'etat in Chile, the president of the grandmothers of the Plaza de Mayo of Argentina, Estela Barnes de Carlotto, assured that the peoples of Latin America together, in spite of their differences, must join hands so that events like those of 50 years ago do not happen again.
We are all brothers together. To those who were affected and those who were not affected must be present for the homeland, for the destiny of the country, not to say. I don't care, but with political differences, with cultural differences, let us join hands. Let us join Latin America so that it never happens again. Never again. That is the word. Thank you very much.
Thousands of Uruguayans gathered on Monday to mark the 50th anniversary of the coup against the Chilean President Salvador Allende. Under the slogan, "Not to forget," the demonstrators remembered the Chilean president and the resistance of the Chilean people against the dictatorship of Augusto Pinochet. The participants remarked the historical legacy of Allende and condemned the United States conspiracy to overthrow his politically and democratically elected government. On the other hand, Uruguayan President Luis Lacalle Pou participated along with several international leaders and personalities in the commemorations of the 50th anniversary of the coup at the Palacio de la Moneda in Santiago de Chile.
50 years ago today, the anniversary I was referring to, shared by Uruguay and Chile, the discussions seem incredible because there are still people who remain faithful to their Omerta Pact and are kidnapping the truth. There are still people who justify the theory of the two demons, that these were wars in our countries and ignore the existence of a people that was massacred tortured, murdered, disappeared, and also there are others who simply support the denial theories.
Salvador Allende was a leader, a fellow president who effectively united the large sectors of the population. It was much more difficult then than now. With all the progress we have made, there are still those who don't understand the value of unity. The role that above all things, we have to defend what is ours, to defend sovereignty, the national identity, independence, public liberties, to face a very powerful enemy, an enemy that in reality for them, we're just another resource, that they want to possess the same raw materials as they did 50 years ago, 100 years ago. The message is one of hope, a message of unity.
And in the framework of the 50th anniversary of the coup against the president Salvador Allende, we bring you the story of the victims of the Pinochet's military dictatorship and their struggle. A necessary story by Hernán Cafiero.
Así que se me compra una corbata, un terno, me guarda el uniforme en la casa y se transforma en el hombre invisible. ¿Ya? Todo lo que haga de ahora en adelante, señor, es secreto de Estado. ¿Entendió?
Sí.
Perfecto.
¿Y cómo le fue, mijito?
Me fue bien, tía. A fin de mes recibo la primera platita.
¡Qué bueno! Yo sabía. Lo sabía.
Límpiame acá, güey. Prepárame un cafecito que ya estoy terminando, güey. A ver. Hace más de un mes que está el parte de matrimonio ahí en mi velador. Amor, no me puede, porque hace más de un mes y medio que está el parte de matrimonio ahí. Pase, ¿en el velador? ¿Cómo que tenía el cumpleaños de tu prima? No,
No hizo.
pues. No, no es así. Espera un poco. ¡Corten el huevo 5 minutos ahí! ¿Aló? Sí, mi amor, bueno, yo le puedo decir al cabro nuevo que la lleve. No, el que nos mandaron de la FARC. Rodolfo González Pérez, sí. Sí, ese, mi amor. Ese mismo. Bueno, va y se compra un vestido, güey.
Tiene una carita tan triste.
Tía, ¿ha sabido algo del Daniel usted?
No, hace como 6 meses que no sé de él. Ay, bueno, pero tú sabes que tu hermano está en Picaflor. Seguramente se habrá enamorado de alguna gringa y de andar viajando por ahí.
Aló. No me pregunte quién soy ni cómo conseguí la información.
Don Juan y Max van a entrar por allá. Ya, ahí ustedes van a tener apoyo de Carabineros.
Solo escúchame. Hay un operativo en curso entre las calles de Euclides con el llano.
Yo, con cachete chico, vamos a entrar por Euclides. ¿Estamos?
Repito, Euclides...
¿Quién está llamando, concha tu madre?
Let's take a short break now, but remember you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where you will find the news in different formats, news updates and more. Other stories coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. Argentina's government will guarantee natural gas exports to Chile until the end of next year, 2024. The Republic of Argentina authorized the export of natural gas to Chile in non-stop volumes until December 31st, 2024, which means the consolidation of a program of energy integration. The decision was made within the framework of the acts for the 50th anniversary of the coup d'etat against the government of Salvador Allende, in which the Undersecretary for Latin American Affairs, Gabriel Fox, and the Argentine ambassador to Chile, Rafael Bielsa, will participate. According to preliminary data, the index in the period January-July natural gas was exported to Chile for more than $5.56 billion, with a growth of 86.8%. And in the framework of his historic tour of China, the Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro arrived on Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. local time in Beijing, the capital of the Asian giant. Maduro arrived in a high-speed train from Shandong, accompanied by the first combatant, Deputy Cilia Flores, to what will be the last stop of his state trip. There, he was received with honors of the Chinese Presidential Guard by the Special Representative of the Government for Latin America and the Caribbean, Qiu Zhaoqi, the Director General for the Department for the Region of the Chancellery, Kai Wei, and the Chinese Ambassador in Venezuela, Lan Hu. The head of the state spoke with spokespersons and businesspersons and authorities for the cities of Shenzhen, Shanghai, and Shandong province, which are possibly the poles of greatest technological, industrial, and economic development in the world. And on Monday, the Venezuelan head of state, Nicolas Maduro, held a meeting with Lin Wu, secretary of the Provincial Committee of the Communist Party of China of Shandong, and the chairman of the Standing Committee of the Provincial People's Congress of that city. The meeting was held with the purpose of strengthening strategic cooperation ties under the principles of mutual respect and solidarity, as well as sharing experiences in the political, economic, and social fields. Wu was accompanied by Lan Hu, the Chinese ambassador to Venezuela, Qiu Zhaoqi, the special representative of the Chinese government for Latin American Affairs, Zhang Haibo, the member of the Standing Committee and Secretary General of the Shandong Provincial Committee of the Communist Party of China, among other authorities. The Venezuelan president said that the Chinese experience will help boost production in Venezuela.
We can integrate in a complementary manner all the experience and the immense power that you have with the project for the expansion of the productive forces of Venezuela.
The Venezuelan head of state highlighted the economic potential of the eastern states of the South American country.
This area in the eastern part of the country, Anzoátegui and Monagas, where we have already taken steps towards a brotherhood agreement, has an extraordinary potential.
On the other hand, Maduro reiterated that China and Venezuela are on the same road to a world of peace without hegemony.
We are brotherly peoples who are walking the same road of building a world without hegemony, a world without colonialism, a world of peace, a world where the culture and civilization of all peoples are respected.
And in a renewed episode of Venezuela on the Move, we travel to the state of Carabobo in the north of the country. Carabobo is an industrial region. In this state, we will visit Don Tito, an essential poultry company for the food industry of the country. Don Tito is one of the pioneer companies in using technologies that have helped them to improve their production and the quality of their products. Nowadays, Venezuela is a country that produces 100% of the eggs it consumes. Let's get to know this poultry company that has contributed to this great achievement.
At the entrance, the Egg Monument is a poultry company. This industrial poultry houses accommodate a total of 220,000 laying hens. Giancarlos is one of the people in charge of feeding and maintenance. He is a farmer by birth and has been with the company for 7 years.
I learned everything I know about birds here. I had worked with other animals, with cattle, with pigs, but not with birds. And I learned here. I started in raising and breeding, where they arrive, little ones, just 24 hours after they were born.
With these small touches, they can tell if they have enough calcium. Then they are passed on to the transport machines, and then they are cataloged. Here, they produce 8 different types.
70% is automated. It needs another 30% from the workers. Without that, we can't make the selection that the company needs to be able to distribute the classification.
Having started operations in 2008, they also produce dressing and mayonnaise. They are 256 workers. They modernize to improve production.
We are pioneers in this cutting-edge technology. Not everyone adapts. It is not easy. Our poultry farming was of California staff's floor hens. We innovated. We brought technology from outside, Brazilian, European, and we have elevated sheds of 7 floors with controlled environment. And we bet that our country will always be at the forefront with technology products. I believe that Venezuela has everything to continue growing.
Before, 90% of the eggs were bought from Brazil and Colombia. Now, Venezuela produces 100% of what it consumes.
Jesús Romero y Adriana Sibori, TeleSUR, Carabobo, Venezuela.
TeleSUR English launches its own videos on demand site for you to go and revisit our interviews, the top stories, the special broadcastings, and more. Just go to the top left corner in our website homepage and click on the video option to access our VOD platform. And now we will have a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. North Korea's leader Kim Jong Un arrived in Russia on Tuesday morning as the Kremlin confirmed a meeting with President Vladimir Putin later on the day. The Asian leader arrived in the Russian Far East in an armored train after almost 4 years of his first visit. The presidential office informed that the purpose of the meeting is to strengthen the bilateral relationships between the two countries. The North Korean leader travels accompanied by several government representatives of the Workers' Party of Korea and high military chiefs. Among the topics considered in the agenda of the heads of state is the situation in the region and international affairs in general. And now we move on to other topics. In Morocco, the authorities are doubling their efforts to help the victims of the earthquake that killed more than 2,800 people. Moroccan authorities did not rule out that the death toll could increase in the coming hours. Meanwhile, the number of wounded is at 2,562 people. For the time being, efforts are being stepped up to continue the search and rescue tasks, while the assistance to the affected areas continues. The authorities announced an emergency program to rehabilitate, support, and rebuild the destroyed houses as soon as possible. And we have come to the end of this news brief. Remember, you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And also, if you feel so inclined, please join us on social media for all the latest news. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm your anchor, Gladys Quesada. Thank you for watching.